Yeah. So the whole thing.
You've got questions.
I do have questions. I come prepared because the reason why I come prepared is so then I can then.
Yeah, but it's whether I want to answer them or not.
Well, if you don't want to answer the question, you just skip. We can come back to it another day. So I wrote these questions down, so then I can then just flick back and go which episode it is, and then snip it all up later on.
You won't.
Yeah. So then when I do my big database, I can then go, oh, this question was from episode 23. Here it is at this point. So then I can look back, see if I've also asked the question before.
No.
If that makes sense. So then, because knowing you'll probably be like, you've already asked me that one. You asked me that again. So I thought, since this first episode, to start off with, we can talk about your childhood at the beginning. Right from the beginning. So
I was born.
That is a good point. Whereabouts then? We're going to start there then. What hospital?
Well, according to my mum,
Yeah.
without looking at I've never looked at the birth certificate, so I don't know.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's upstairs. It was Whitechapel Hospital in London.
Right.
So she was 36 hours in labour. It was a bit painful for her.
It's just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, only a little bit.
Yeah.
Didn't feel a thing.
So did she use that against you whenever you were?
They used forceps on her.
Yeah.
And that left me with a little hole in my ear.
All right.
But it's healed over after 79 years now, isn't it? So it healed over after that, so it don't...
That's what it did. Did it actually make any damage then?
No, because it was in the outside and
right.
Like waxy stuff used to come out of it.
Mm.
But it didn't worry me at all.
No. So your mum grew up in Whitechapel area?
No, she grew up in Raynham. Dad worked away. Mum lived in Raynham.
Oh, wow.
It was so.
Yeah.
Yeah, she... her family come from the Raynham area.
Mm.
It's all round. But yeah, over by the Albion pub, stepmom she wasn't adopted, she was just looked after by somebody after the war, which most people were.
Yeah, World War II.
Yeah, I ain't that bloody old. Cheeky son.
Yeah, but I didn't know if you meant like you said that your mum was just looked after. I didn't know if it meant like a war before.
No, it was World War II.
I suppose that actually leads on to me.
Next question.
My first question, which was, what is your earliest memory that you have?
Nothing like it is today. It was playing in the street with all the other kids.
Mm.
And some of them taking a pee out of me because my dad worked away all the time.
Oh, right.
Yeah, little gits. But yeah, we used to play in the street. Can't do it now, can you? You know, so
yeah,
it's a matter of just playing in the street, knock up ginger, tie the letterboxes together.
Was it a tiny letterbox? What, you seal them shut? And
no, you'd have not a rope, but a bit of sewing cotton or something like that, and you'd tie 3 or 4 letterboxes together. And then when one person opened the door, it used to knock. You used to knock one door, and then when they opened that one, it'd knock the one next to it and the one next to it. So you'd finish up with 3 or 4 people looking out their doors because we tied the letterboxes together.
So we never had that. We only really had like lockdown ginger and and things like that. So was that whereabouts was that you grew up around then?
It was Cowper Road in Raynham.
Right.
It was just one of those streets like everybody else.
A
bit like Coronation Street sort of thing.
Just
long rows of houses.
Then like a local pub and
we had
little shop and
we had there was 1, 2, 3, 4 pubs
in
Raynham. There was milk yard where they used to bottle milk and take it around.
Yeah.
Bakers, which was down on the corner of Cowper Road, and a couple of other little shops, hardware shops and stuff like that. It's we just off of Raynham, what you would call the War Memorial. That's where everybody used to congregate. But
yeah,
have
you been back there much since? Like, just to see if anything's changed?
Well, when I was at work, I used to come through there virtually every day.
Right.
It's just going down to the traffic lights where the police was to come home.
Just when you was working, when you had this place?
I lived at home, and then we moved to Aveley. Then the farmer wanted to sell the houses we was living in, so he gave us some money to put a deposit on another house in Blackshot Lane in Grays. I put the rest to it after my motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
And excuse me. That was 178 or 179 Blackshots.
Right.
And that was the other end to the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And I stayed there till met Chris, your nan, and then we bought this place. I was 25 when we bought this one. And I've been in here ever since.
Yeah.
But,
did you ever think about moving?
Nan wouldn't move out of the village. No matter what. She wasn't going to move out of the village.
Yeah.
The village.
So you never had did it ever cross your mind though? Like,
No,
I
wanted to be with her, so
you go, yeah.
That's it. You do as you're told. But that's when people were nice people. The people that lived in here, they was buying another place in East Tilbury.
Yeah.
And they kept saying that the estate agent kept saying, "Oh, we can get you more money for it." And the bloke said, "No," he said, "until the man can't prove that he can't get a mortgage, then it's his." And that's how we got this place.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't get anything like that, like little nice deals like that anymore. People would just...
No.
Maybe the odd few.
This place cost me £4,750. That was it.
On a wage of?
I was supposed to have been earning £33 a week to get a mortgage.
Is that just for one person, or is that a combined household?
When we put our names down for this place, we wasn't married. We were still courting.
Yeah.
I was only earning £28 a week, and they would only take 1 week in a month out of Chris's money to put to my money.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't earning enough. And we finished up having to take out an insurance to cover the mortgage.
Right.
But then I started earning. I went shift work, and I was earning £33 a week, which was what I was supposed to have done. But we still kept the insurance on for a while, and then we paid it out. But Chris's family have always lived in the village. Nan.
Yeah, he's a great nan.
Nan used to live in Gordon Road.
Yeah.
Her mum used to live over the back in Hillcrest. And Pop's family, they lived in Vincent Avenue.
Oh, right.
And his stepmom.
Yeah.
Because he was adopted, so his stepmom. But he was a nice family. But I ain't going nowhere. No. Not till I take me out in the box.
So who did you look up to as a kid?
That's a difficult one because Dad used to work away and we only used to see him from late Friday night until Sunday morning.
By work away, whereabouts? Like
he worked in Hayes in Middlesex.
And
he's him and his brother. They used to work up there. And he used to come home on the train on a Friday.
Yeah.
Friday night, and then go back on Sunday morning.
What kind of work did he do?
He worked for Marconi's, the radio people.
Right.
And he used to do all sorts of things because at that time, just after the war, you never had a job. You had anything that was going, you done.
Yeah.
You was trained to do it, and you could just then swap from job to job. And his brother, they worked in the same place in Hayes, Middlesex, and it's one of those things. His brother lived up there all the time, and he used to go there, and then, as I say, he used to come home. So that's one of my first memories,
Yeah.
It's
the dog.
Yeah, looking up to somebody. I suppose really we used to look up to the beat coppers.
Oh right, that's an interesting one.
In Aveley,
Yeah.
because at the time you used to have beat coppers walking round.
Yeah, doing the beat. Yeah.
all the time, and they used to pop in the shop and ask the people how they was and whether they got any trouble. And he used to be a big copper.
Right.
And yeah, as I said before, he used to have leather glove on one hand.
Yeah.
On his right hand, and the other one was always poked underneath his shoulder.
Right.
Underneath where his numbers were on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I didn't find out until he gave me a flick on the back of the head. And was
well, what was you doing wrong?
Properly bits were in the ends of the glove.
Yeah.
And he used to use it as, like, don't do that again.
Squad, yeah.
Never used to eat you hard. There was nothing, no malice in it at all.
A bit like when you wax around back a year or something.
Yeah. And he was, although he was a big bloke, you never took liberties with him. But he was always good.
So he was a nice bloke.
Yeah, you could always talk to him, you go up there. Yeah, he clipped me for riding my 3-wheel bike round a corner on 2 wheels. And nearly hit some poor old girl. And he caught me out. And don't do that again.
Yeah.
But it was good.
So why did you say that you've looked up to them then?
Because it was respect.
Yeah.
You have respect for your own family. You have respect for your mum, your dad. But it's a different respect.
Yeah, I suppose it's that authority figure that...
Yeah, there's somebody you could go to that is not family.
Yeah.
If you wanted to talk something over, or if somebody was giving you trouble, you could always go and talk to him. And yeah, I suppose really that was the one I used to look up to the most. It's and the not old boy, because he was only about the same age as my mum. He used to live next door with his mum, and he'd always somebody to talk to, if I needed. But that's just one of those things.
That leads on perfectly, actually, because I was going to ask, who did you turn to the most, like, just for advice, sort of thing? Who, like you said, you have family, but sometimes some family members can be a bit like one-sided, can't they? So
yeah, it's. I suppose really it's the male ones look towards their mum.
Yeah.
And the female ones always look to the dad.
Yeah, even today it's more, mums are more protective over their sons, I've noticed.
Oh yeah.
Fathers more protective over, obviously, their daughters. It's going to be that way anyway, but...
Yeah. But it's always been like that, you know. But some of them nowadays don't respect anybody.
No, they don't. They don't at all.
No, no. It's
and that's even kids as well. They don't respect anyone at all. Like
no,
some of them nowadays, you
When
walk
it's-
around and
when
show
we,
no respect at all.
yeah, when we first moved into here, that's what 53 years ago now, something like that, about 53 years. And all the kids used to play out in the street,
Mm.
and anybody, because they was all known in the village, could speak sharply to one of the kids if they was doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Because they knew that they was doing something wrong, and they knew that it would be reported back to that whoever's mum it was.
Yeah, the parent. Yeah, you get that
because everybody
community setting.
Yeah, everybody knew everybody else.
Yeah,
know.
it's still similar. There is still that essence in the village, but it's not.
Yeah, it's
Because
not
obviously
as much
everyone's coming and going now, aren't they? They're not really
Yeah.
staying for
Well,
a long time.
as I've said to people before, Chrissy's nanny used to live in Gordon Road.
Mm.
They had as you went in the back door, you had a coal shed, and a bathroom downstairs. And she used to open the shed door,
Yeah.
and there was a little table inside the door, and she would put the milk money, the coal money, the prudential money, all on the books, all
And like rent
the
and
door.
things like that. Yeah.
They used to walk in and just take what was theirs,
Mm.
and they'd just shout out, "Ada, we've taken it." Yeah, right. And that was it. And
Yeah.
then off she used to go. Yeah. But nowadays, you have to make sure.
Yeah, that whole thing would be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing would have been gone.
Yeah, pocket that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that with me.
Yeah.
But like I said, with like the community sense, there is still that in a way, but it's not as tight knit, is it? You still have like your local boys at the pub that will look out for you, or you have the odd few. But where obviously London expanded and things, you get the odd people that just move in here just for work rather than.
I was talking to one of the older ones in the village the other day. We were saying it's where it used to be a community village. Now it's a commuter village, because when everything went on strike, and you'd look out the window and the street would be clear, there wouldn't be a car in sight.
Yeah.
But as soon as the strike's finished, it went back and all the cars rear.
Yeah. Well, people use it as a follow through from the A13, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, you know there's a crash coming up when you get shitloads of people coming through.
Yeah, sooner or later.
Yeah. So it's a similar question to the other two, but it's who had the most influence on you? And then as a follow on from that, did their influence continue as they got old as you got older? And did you continue it, or did that person change who had the most influence on you as you got older?
The person who had that influence, because as I say, I never used to see my dad all that much.
Yeah.
And he was he'd come home and I'd just see him weekends. But then I had a stepdad.
Yeah.
And that was I was about 10 then, I suppose, when I had the stepdad. And I looked up to him, and there used to be guidance if I needed it. Used to watch what he was doing, because he used to a little bit of everything. And the way I got in was really weird. As I was asked what I wanted for Christmas one year.
Right.
And I said, I'll have him as a dad.
Yeah.
And it was about 20 years.
Were you sat on Santa's lap when you said
No, it was just at home, like wherever he writes out lists. And
did you post that one through the letterbox?
No.
Yeah.
No, we was all in the room together.
Yeah.
And he was about 20 years old, younger than my mum.
Right.
And
so how old was your mum at the time?
Well, I was 10 and I'm 80 this year, so
yeah.
That's about 70 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try and do the maths.
Yeah, so I had him for the rest right up until they got divorced. Just after I got married to Nan, so to Chris, so.
Did a good what? 16, 17 years?
20, I was 25 when I got, I was 10, 25.
So it's a good 15 years.
15 years.
Did he continue to stay as an influence on you then? Like after?
Yeah, I still used to go and see him, although he remarried. He was, I still want to see him if I wanted to know how to do something, I'd go and see him,
Yeah.
It's, I still had to, he was still an influence to me, It's, you get there in the end.
Yeah. So that person didn't change then?
He was about 10 years older than me. It was, but he went in 2006. He died then.
Yeah.
It's, but that's the way it goes, isn't it?
It does, yeah.
Life has to start and life has to finish.
So that influence didn't change then. He didn't switch from a different person.
No.
I know some people they have that person when they're a kid and then teen and then adult sometimes, or
and he used to. He had a country and western band.
Yeah.
His dad had one when we first met. It was a family thing.
Yeah.
Country and western group. They used to go.
Did he play instrument or did he?
Yeah, he used to play guitar.
Yeah. Did he sing as well? Or?
Yeah, he used to sing. His sister used to sing. And her voice was so powerful she didn't have to use a microphone.
Oh, right.
It was that powerful. She didn't use a microphone. It was only when I was in massive, great big halls.
Yeah, she had to project.
But a normal size hall, she wouldn't have to use.
She had that projection already there.
Yeah.
Did she have lessons or anything, or was she just like natural?
No, just how that was. It's she did set her trousers alight.
Well, now I've got to ask how that happened then.
They used to do those country and western, and they was all dressed up as cowboys.
Right.
And
the full shebang, hat, boots, everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she had a gun on the side, and if the gun was loaded, and she used to take the gun out of the holster and fire it, and it had blanks in there. But she pulled the trigger before she took it out of the holster, and he set all the trousers alight. I was all rushing around, patting her legs, trying to put the bloody flames out. Yeah, that was good, dude. But then Dad had his own. He lived in Chadwell. And, he had his own band from there.
Yeah.
He still.
You said they made an EP, didn't they, once?
Yeah. The big record, like, if you go back as old as I am, it's the one under the 78s. It's it cost him. It was about £2,000. That was a lot of money then.
I mean, that's like half the price. Yeah, of his house.
Yeah. It was. We used to go out with them, and
watch perform.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the studio when they recorded?
No, because he remarried by then.
Oh, okay.
But Sandy still his wife, his second wife. She still sends me a Christmas card every year.
Oh, right, that's nice.
It's and she had. It was 4 children, and Dad had one with her as well.
Yeah.
Always called him my dad. I never called him stepdad or
or his name. Yeah.
like Yeah, so I always called him Dad. And he showed me how to, because most of this place has been changed.
Yeah, all like your handiwork
I've
and
had like 5 kitchens.
yeah,
because then you get fed up with it after
yeah,
a
I want
while.
to change that. Yeah,
Change that, and yeah.
So is that how you knew how to do all the like your handyman stuff
Oh
and
yeah,
painting and
yeah,
electrical work?
yeah, and cars. We started off with 2. I started off with 2 old vans. Made 1 van out of 2. Took the bits off of one, good bits off of one, and put it on the other one, and it's then he took up doing car repairs. Then he went over to doing body repairs, so that's where I got those 2 bits from.
Yeah.
And then anything around the house he used to do. We never had anybody in.
Yeah, you just never hired him.
Because that pees me off now, because I have to get people in to do jobs for me. So wish I didn't, but
Yeah,
can't get away from it now because I can't do it.
yeah.
But that's the way it goes, isn't it? You get older, you can't do it.
So I suppose he influenced you for the good then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's you've got somebody in your life, or you should have somebody in your life that you can look back on and say, "Oh, they showed me how to do that. She showed me how to do that, or he did.
They guided me through this, or
yeah." It's lots of things, everything. Well, everything really. It's, schooling wasn't that great, but I learned from him by using my hands.
Yeah.
So I could do jobs virtually, anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. So we'll live with it.
So when you look back in your childhood, what sticks out to you the most? Is it the good memories or bad memories? Because a lot of people, because I've seen the question before of
No,
what do you remember more, the good or the bad?
I don't think really. The bad things you try not to remember in any case. And good things are always there, so you don't look back on them.
Yeah.
You only look forward. And the only thing that I remember from my own dad was when I see him riding a push bike on the Sunday morning with a big green box on his shoulder.
Right.
Box, and he got all his tools that he had at home. And we didn't see him after that.
Yeah.
But that's the only bad memory. The rest of them, then I live from day to day and forget the bad ones.
So do you think the people that do struggle with things and do have all these bad memories, you think a lot of the time they're just they're personally holding on to
Yeah.
like consciously they're making that effort to hold on?
Yeah, yeah. It's you shouldn't look at all the bad things. The good things and the bad things should come together, so that you can learn from what the bad things were and don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
You should.
The lesson.
Yeah, it's a big lesson, but the good things can be looked at and then moved on, because you're going to get another good thing.
Yeah.
Don't just sit with one. Oh yeah, this was the best thing. Well, no, it's not, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
you know them good things, they don't last forever. So they could be.
The bad things you could make last forever, but you shouldn't. But the good things, you can always get another one.
Yeah.
But the best things is like when you get married, when you have your kids. They're the ones that'll always stick there.
Yeah.
No matter what. Things that happen. And those good things, when you talk about those, other good things come into your mind. But you don't want to dwell on it.
Yeah.
Because
there's
always something else that comes along.
So you would say the good outweighs the bad then?
Yes.
Is that
no.
So it's in a sense, yeah.
Yes and no, because if you don't look at the bad things, you'll never make the good things, because you'll always be thinking of the bad things. Never look at one of them all the time. You might get the arse ache with something or other, but if you dwell on that, all the good things will become exactly the same.
Yeah.
You won't see any good things, but you should really look at what happens around you so that you can pick the things you want to do. I don't want to do those. That's the bad things. But I'd like to do these, which are good things.
Yeah.
But you still have to remember those bad things, because if you do the good things, you could be doing bad things to somebody else. Although it seems good to you.
Yeah.
But
you're actually causing
that
harm
bad
somewhere
thing is to somebody else.
else.
Yeah.
I suppose it's both physically and mentally as well. Like if you.
Oh yeah. Both the same. It's physical. You'll probably always see.
Yeah.
Mentally, you'll see.
Is that something that you found out yourself?
got-
That part where you said about you could be hurting someone else from your own action. Is that something that you've found out through your own?
Yeah, and also from other people as well, because you see people that hold on to things that they shouldn't be holding on to.
Yeah.
They should put them on a back burner. They shouldn't hold on to them. Remember them, but don't do them.
Yeah.
The things that, like I said to you some time ago, is people that text, or they put it on their computer and they send an email to somebody and you don't see them. All you see is the words that come from the other person, or words that you send to other people.
And people misinterpret that all the time as well.
Yeah, and the look on somebody's face will tell you whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Because you could say something to somebody and they'll laugh. But you look at their eyes or their mouth and you'll see that they didn't like it. But when you're doing texting and everything else, then it doesn't happen.
No.
They just take what they read.
Yeah,
that's it.
You just talk into a virtual world rather than actual creating a connection with someone.
Yeah. You shouldn't, that's why, okay, I've got a phone now and he just takes it and goes out.
It's not exactly what people
I'd
call
rather,
modern.
If it doesn't mean I can't talk to somebody, well, then I'll talk to them next time I see them. But with that messaging, you can, you could keep going backwards and forwards and nobody get the right answer.
Yeah. Especially the amount of group chats and things that I've been in before, and you just have 10 people all talking at each other.
Yeah.
But no one's actually there's no end to the conversation. It's just you end up just talking to yourself. In the end.
And it ain't worth it.
You mentioned school time briefly, and so my first question about it is: did you have like a group of friends that you always chilled with, like you just hung out with, a bit like how we used to just go and play football in the streets, or down the park?
Yeah, it's they change as you go through life. People grow apart. You don't, one friend you'll probably keep all the time.
Yeah.
But when you start moving on, you move on to a different area, you make different friends, and you tend to drop off. But like Mickey and Andy.
Yeah.
They're still friends, and they went to school together.
Yeah.
And they're still friends. But they can still say the wrong things to one another when they've had a few drinks. But yeah. Used to have friends at school, but it was just when we used to go out and play football, ride our bikes, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Did you have the a group that stuck with you throughout your life?
No, not really. I had friends that, you know, when you wanted to do something, you could get hold of somebody,
Mm.
you know, and say, "Oh, do you want to do this or do you want to do that?" But you know, I don't think it's unless you've got one or two good friends, then yeah. But you'll find that most people go from group to group.
Yeah.
You know, they don't stick with one lot. You know, like when you see your mates,
Mm.
it's not always the same amount of people.
No.
I
mean, it's normally me and Harvey at least,
Yeah.
anyway. But
But that's like you and Andy and Mickey.
yeah,
You know, you got one good friend, but you can always ask one another. You know, or you text him. You know,
yeah,
it's yeah. But normally it's just a group of people that go different places. You know.
yeah. So who would you say was your best friend?
Probably I didn't have one.
All right.
Probably never had one best friend.
Mm.
It's
Is there something you, looking back now, wish you did have an experience?
no, I don't think I do because I didn't really miss other people.
Mm.
I could do things on my own. If I wanted to see somebody, I could go and see them.
Yeah,
You know, like I had a couple of friends when I was in the garage, and we all used to get together, and people used to come into the garage where I was working.
yeah,
And there was what, probably two, Dickie and Rose. They were the two that I had the most dealings with.
Mm.
You know, but and that was through their dad, really, because I used to argue with him. But his mum always used to make lovely little small cakes.
Oh, so that's why he was going around there for the cakes.
Around there for the cakes. Yeah, but yeah, Dickie, we done a bit of he done a bit of motorcycle racing, and but people used to ask me if I wanted to do things, and I seem to be the one that, yeah, okay, I'll do it for you, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
so you still had them connections with people who just
Yeah,
you
but
didn't have
never.
that one singular
Yeah,
person that you could say, oh,
yeah,
yeah, that's definite.
yeah, yeah. It's I suppose really my stepdad. You know, he was my best friend. I suppose you could put it down like that. You
Yeah,
know,
and I mean, he was only, as you said, like
it's,
10 years older, really.
yeah,
So
it's like he, as I, we went right through until I was 25, until I moved into this place here. You
yeah,
know? It's, I suppose you could class me as a bit of a loner, I suppose. You know, and it's but that's the way it goes. You know,
yeah.
nobody's the same, no matter who it is.
But I don't think there is anything wrong with being classed as a loner because, like, I mean, like with myself at school, we had our group, but then after school went, you just have like the group from primary school. But then even then, I only really see you see a few every now and then.
Yeah,
But sometimes there's almost a bit of comfort in being
yeah.
having your own
It's,
self. Do you know what I mean?
you know, your attitude to other people, that is what will get you through life, because you find the people that you can ask things of will always come to you if your attitude is right.
Yeah.
If your attitude is wrong, they'll never come back.
And I think as well, as long as because people don't realize nowadays the importance of just social skills in general.
Yeah.
But back in like your generation, you lot probably all spoke to anyone and everyone, and you still do, didn't you? You walk down the road and say hello to
you know, I
whatever.
walk the dog around the village every day, and there's always somebody to speak to.
Yeah. Whereas
You say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You've spoken. And 9 times out of 10, well, 99 times out of 100, I suppose, is that person who will always answer you.
yeah, they'll say hello, good morning back, and
Yeah.
but like my generation, you get the odd few who are really kind of Jack the Lad sort of thing who will talk to anyone, everyone. But then you get those who will have one person, that's it,
Mm.
and they don't like opening up to other people, which is fine. But I mean, just even in just general chit chat, they won't express themselves that way. They're too scared to go up and have that conversation. And
Yeah, it's you know, I suppose if I go to a party, that's what Nan used to say to me, what Chris used to say, is why don't you mix? Well, I didn't like the mix.
Yeah.
You know, that was just me.
I mean, I'm the same as well. When I go, like, if I'm going with people, I mean, unless I've had a good few by that point, then you can come to people. But when you first get there, there's always them people that they go straight and they go, yeah, how are you, how are you, how are you? But then I'm just like, yeah, I'll find me one person and stick with them and then go afterwards, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's but it's, everybody's got their own way of doing it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know, some people you can get the ump with because they just keep coming back all the time and asking and asking and asking. But nah, it's life, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, one of the questions that links with school, but also with what we've been talking about, is when we're kids, we always say, I'm sick of school. I can't wait to get older and grow up. And then when you do grow up, you end up like, "Oh, I miss school. I miss just being able to be with them." Is that now, looking back at it now, after obviously going through all of life, do you still feel the same? That saying of, I wish I was back in school, I wish I was there, I wish I was these? Or are you kind of happy and content with what's happened?
There's two ways you can look at that. One is, I should have learnt more when I was at school.
Right.
And push forward to learn more when I was at school.
Yeah.
Because at the school time when I was around, it was a matter of, well, if you could use your hands, that's what you was going to do. If you could do paperwork, as I call it, then you were split down the middle. And I could use my hands, but I should have learnt more of the paper side of it.
Like the writing and that
writing, reading,
yeah,
mathematics, stuff like that. Because it's now find it very hard to do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
As everything's getting more advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes me too long to do it. Where I should have learnt more when I was at school.
Do you think that is a common thing for most people around your age to say?
Around my age?
Yeah, to say, I wish.
Yeah, it was always a split of these people can do handwork, mechanical work. These people can do paperwork. And it always was. And if you could find somebody to give you a hand, you found somebody to give you a hand, rather than
do your own work for
it. It's but nowadays they've got to do it. They've got to do it. You can't, there's no split now. You've got to do it. It's which is a shame, really, because a lot of people, you'd have a lot more people doing work, but nowadays, where machinery's coming in, they're going to be doing all the work.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, probably not your generation, but the generation after that, like your children, they won't have no national health. They won't have no assistance from the government. You won't be able to get dole money.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, everybody wants machinery put in, but they're not taxing any machinery. And how do you get all those things when the national insurance and such forth, nobody's paying that in?
Yeah.
So you're going to get nothing out because the machines they're not paying for it.
Yeah.
It's just putting everybody on there on the dole, but there's no money there.
Yeah, there's no give and take, yeah.
So it's okay, machine could do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times faster than a normal person. It's sooner or later, we'll have to go like the Chinese did and only have one child per family.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have so many people, and
I think they've stopped that now because their population was declining. So they kind of they upped it to 2.
Yeah, upped it to 2. And
yeah, it's 2 or 3 now.
I think you can actually push it a bit and go to 3.
I think they allow 3, but that's like your maximum.
Yeah. But that's the way it's the way life's going.
Yeah,
you can't do nothing about it.
You said there was 2 parts to that, 2 ways of answering that question.
Which was that?
The one about looking back and thinking, I wish like I didn't grow up, or wish that I was back then. You said there was a one way about the school learning, but then what was the other part that you was thinking?
Well, the other part really is the fact that you don't get interaction.
What, nowadays or?
Nowadays. Where before we had interaction, we was doing things. But nowadays you don't get an interaction.
Yeah, you could expect to go in and be like, I'm going to talk to this person about this and come out, or...
It was like, when Nan was alive, we was in the fish shop in Corringham. And...
But down at the chippy?
Yeah. And a woman was talking to her daughter. Well, arguing with her daughter. Because her daughter answered her phone.
Yeah.
But they'd only taken a 5-minute walk from their house to the chippy, and her mate had texted her, but her mate was in her house. Right? And she took it, and she said, I've got to answer this. She said, why? She said, because it's only going to take us 5 minutes to walk home.
Yeah. And
she said, the woman said, I see you and your mate texting one another, and you were sitting in the bus shelter next door to one another. So they're not communicating.
No.
They're not communicating.
Yeah.
And it's where
talking to a virtual thing is not actually it's not. There's no connection being built.
Where we was, you had to.
Yeah.
Because nobody had mobile phones.
Yeah.
Most of us didn't have money in our pockets because it was, sort of, you don't take it to school or anything like that with you.
I suppose just one of the things. House telephone was there, or?
Well, yeah. Normally it was just like 1 or 2 people in the road had a telephone, and you go down their house and
you prank call people and things.
Yeah. Can you put a call through to this person? Yeah. Or a telephone box where you used to put the money in the box.
Yeah.
It's but the phones weren't as easy to get hold of as they are now. So
if you actually wanted to talk to someone, you had to physically go and
physically do it.
You're almost forced into doing it, aren't you? Rather than
yeah, you are actually. Yeah.
I think that's probably why your generation, especially, is so much more open with just talking to anyone, everyone, because they're almost told you've got to learn to interact with people. Otherwise, you ain't gonna talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Whereas in my generation, you can just go, or even Molly's generation, the one below me, they can just jump on a social media and communicate with any random person.
One of the ways that people now communicate with one another is when somebody has a baby. When they have a baby, everybody wants to. Can I look at the baby? It could be anybody.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry, they want to know, don't they?
Yeah. And one thing they don't do now, which you used to do, was put a silver coin in the baby's hand.
All right. How come they've done that?
That was for like a blessing for the baby in there, from you to that baby. Now, even if it was somebody you didn't know.
I was going to say,
you used to put a silver coin in their hand.
It'd be like I used to put a silver, when you give someone a wallet, you have to put a silver coin in there.
Yeah. Yeah, those, that's the same sort of thing. But nowadays, people don't accept it. You can't do that, It's all the diseases that are going on.
That's probably something to say, I don't even think the hospital would probably let you do it nowadays.
Yeah, but it's easy enough to put the coin in there. And
did it matter who put the coin in there, in the hand?
had to be the person who they was talking to.
Right.
You know, or you could, and then he got that you could give it to the mum or the dad, whoever was pushing the pram.
Mm.
You know.
I didn't know if it had to be a specific, like, special person
No.
or member of the family. Or...
No. It could be anybody. It's just something you used to do. But,
yeah. Well, since we've been talking about influence and people going to for advice and things like that, is there any teachers, for example, that you still remember to this day?
No.
And two, is there any that you're actually thankful for?
Well, no, not really. I don't think. There was a couple of teachers that, like the woodwork teacher, but he was all right. The PE bloke, the PE teacher, he was just a nut.
Yeah.
But you could talk to him occasionally. But most of the time it was, you know, just somebody at home or somebody out, you know, some other person than the teachers.
Yeah.
You know, it was more like now you could talk to, if you wanted to, people could talk to the teacher. But nowadays they can't do anything like that. You know, you can't touch them. You can't, you know, if somebody's upset or anything like that, you're not allowed to do this or do that. You know, and it's, I suppose, in the sense so much goes on. People worry more now than what they did when I was at school.
Yeah.
You know, it's any teacher you could talk to. You know, if you was upset or anything like that, any one of them. And but nowadays you can't. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it goes.
And then I'm gonna end this episode off with two last questions. First one is, describe your childhood in 3 words.
Don't really think I could.
If you could put 3 words on it, like attach it to the 3 words.
I suppose you could put it down as 2 words really, comfort zone. Because you was able to talk to anybody and everybody. But you'd have a comfort area of everybody. Where nowadays you can't. You can't have a comfort.
But the word comfort zone can be used in a positive and a negative way.
Yes.
So is that also a way of describing like your childhood as well, why you used it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because mum and dad getting divorced, mum and dad getting a stepdad, and mum getting remarried. You could use it as both ways. You could look at it from both sides.
Yeah.
You know, so it's what people think. Yourself, what you feel inside yourself.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's more awkward.
I
find, you know, looking at your age sort of thing, and people younger than you, how hard it is for them now.
Yeah.
You know, might have a go at them, but it's the life.
Yeah.
They find it hard.
You kind of got to get on with it.
Yeah.
Not complain, just carry on. Just
carry on and do whatever you think. That's what the attitude is now, is you do what you think should be done.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, if you was to talk to somebody, it wouldn't be done that way.
Yeah.
But you can't talk to somebody because there's nobody there to talk to.
Yeah.
Like going right back to the copper at the beginning. You know, okay, he was strict, but he was a person that you could go up to without fearing him.
Yeah.
You know, policemen nowadays, unfortunately, they don't do what they used to do in our time, where they used to put a young constable was always on the beat with an older one. And the older one would say, if something was going wrong, he'd say, hang on a minute, we talk to these people.
Yeah.
We don't just jump in. But nowadays, unfortunately, the attitude of everybody, not just the police, it's everybody, is I'll thump him. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose my last question is, if you could attach your life to a song, what would it be?
Wouldn't be one.
It wouldn't be a song?
No, not one.
Why is that?
Not one song.
Mm.
It's because I, at different times and in different moods, you like something different.
Yeah.
So why stick to one thing?
One thing, yeah.
Don't stick to one thing.
Mm.
If you feel like I've got classic FM on the wireless,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes I put that on.
Yeah. Or BBC Essex.
Country and Western.
Yeah.
BBC Essex, BBC London.
Yeah.
Kiss. You
Yeah.
know,
Go for a little rave, yeah.
Yeah. It's all those. I wouldn't put it down to just one.
Yeah.
You know, it's country and Western, I suppose, was with my dad, you know, my stepdad, when he was, because of his family and all of them, you know. But then I don't mind Queen, although Nan's looking down on me saying, why is you saying that?
Yeah. You meant to love Queen.
Yeah, Quo.
Yeah.
I don't mind them. Mick Jagger, not really. But I'd still listen to him if it was on and I felt in that mood, then I would listen to it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't listen to anything in particular. You know, not, oh, well, it's always got to be this one. It's always got to be this one.
Yeah.
No.
So you'd need multiple songs at least to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you look, I've got tapes around here somewhere.
Yeah, they were. They used to be over in the corner, didn't they?
Yeah. I've got some up under my bed, but there's everything in there. You know. I'd rather do it that way than just have one, because not everybody likes it. And if you want to sit with somebody and listen to some music, then you should be able to put on whatever both of you want to listen to, rather than saying, oh, well, I'll put this on, and you've got to like it.
Yeah.
Well, why have you got to like it? There's no reason for it.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to listen to that music on your own, well, put your earphones on, you know, and let the other person have what they want, you know. But so really, I've never gone for anything, one thing. You know, I'd rather listen to lots of different bits, you know.
Yeah.
And don't sing out the window quite as much now as I used to when I was younger, but yeah, so it's I don't mind anything really. You know, it's I'll listen to it. If I don't like it, I'll change it for another one.
Yeah, just switch the channel over.
Yeah.
Right. Cheers for that, Grandad.
Yeah. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. You've got to go down the stables now.
No, almost 5 o'clock.
Oh, so you got half-hour rest.
Yeah.
So you can go have a cup of tea after this then.
Yeah. Oh, a bit dry now.
Well, I did say to you, you should make a drink before this. I think you'll remember that for next time.
Yeah.
Let's bring a cup of tea with you.
Yeah, it's next time. Oh,
God. Well, anyway, right, for next time.
Yes. Yeah. That's unfortunate with, you know, bits and pieces. Sometimes you think of things that are different because of your what your mind goes back to.
Yeah.
You know, you don't think of the same thing all the time. It's like, what disc would you like to listen to? You know, well, no, it varies because it drifts on and off. And it's the same thing with talking.
Yeah.
You know, it drifts.
Well, it's going to happen. Well, we've got hundreds of episodes to get through.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So that'll re-jog probably a few memories down the memory lane. I can imagine you'll probably come through with a few interesting stories now with doing this.
There's a few of them tucked away.
Yeah, we'll have to bring some of them out, I think.